All right, guys, welcome to Anton's Daily Updates. So, I'm going to make this daily update series where I'm going to make one video every single day that will follow this exact framework. I will go over my business stats. I will go over my to-do, what I'm currently working towards or what I'm currently working on to reach my goal. I will build and strategize in public, talking about the specific moves I'm doing for my clients and for myself to make sure that I scale as fast and as quickly as possible. And then I'll go through any questions that you guys might have in the YouTube comment section. So here in the start, it will probably just be sitting me alone here doing these videos, and that's completely fine with me because the main reason I want to do these videos is for extreme accountability towards myself. I want to put myself in a situation where it's going to be impossible for me to fail and not do what I'm supposed to do. Meanwhile, sharing the entire journey on how I'm going to go from 0K per month to 150K per month with 60% profit margins in 6 months. Now, this might seem extreme, but for the last 4 years, all I've been doing is work inside the coaching industry. Started out as an appointment setter 4 years ago, and before that, I did tech sales. Then I went into being an appointment setter for 6 months, into closing, into head closer, sales lead, and then at last I was a sales manager for a info product doing 250K USD per month. After that, I transitioned working for Charlie Morgan for a bit and learned some great things there. And at the end of the day, I wanted to pivot into my own business, where we started a growth operating agencies with my two partners, Frederick, my brother and my good friend that I actually got inspired from this series from Frederick Pahus, who did it for a long time and it worked very well for him. So now I want to do this for myself. Right? I've been scaling coaching businesses directly for the past 2 years, doing all of the operation sides from ads to content to positioning and everything it entails to be an operator of an info product. And now I want to take all of this knowledge and put it into my own vehicle, which is going to be what I'm going to cover in this series. I will build up a sales academy based in Denmark, and I'll talk more about that later down the line. I'll build up a sales coaching academy where I'll show you the exact moves from zero, nothing build, just an idea, to a fully fledged business having super seamless operations, making 150K per month in 6 months. Now, my only rule to this is I will need to hit 150K in revenue at 60% profit margins, which is probably going to be the hard thing when you scale because yes, you can hit 150K, but if you want to do it quickly, you will also need to spend a lot of money because the only way that you can really do shortcuts is by spending more money. But I don't want to do it that quickly. I want to do it in the sense where I hit the number and it's still a healthy business because I'm not going into this project because I want to hit 150K for my ego. I'm doing it because I want to make more money and I want to share how exactly I'm going to do that. Now, one thing that you guys will see in the next couple of episodes is obviously business stats. There's not going to be super much to cover because I am not doing any marketing as of right now. And the next couple of days, I want to get this up and running as quickly as possible. And I'll show you all about that. But there will be no real business stats to show. I've made this sheet where I will track my main things, which will be revenue, which will be book calls, and which will be new IG followers, where I'll show you all of the metrics we're tracking and everything to make it seamless and to make it predictable, which is what tracking helps you do. It gives you an overview, and when you have overview, you know what moves and what doesn't move, and you can make decisions from that. But here in the start is going to be not that much numbers and more so strategy, because building a business in the start is very rarely super interesting in terms of number wise. So we're going to go heavy into the to-do and into the building, strategizing in public. Probably not going to be a lot of people watching this so far, but that's okay with me. I'll just go through exactly what I'm doing and how it's going to potentially help you guys. So to cover my to-do list first, I use the Swarm app, good old Sam Oven Swarm app. The way that I want to do this is I'm not going to put in like every single boring task I'm doing. I just want to do the main big things that I'm working on, which for today has been creating course modules and doing a onboarding process for clients and map out the exact journey that I want the clients to go through from they join till when they have hit X result, right? Because the way that I'm running a coaching business is I have some kind of promise, I have some kind of outcome, and I want to create the journey exactly from where they are and how they're going to hit that exact thing, both so I know customer success wise what kind of steps they need to go through to hit X result, and also so they know it, so they have clarity on what steps they need to go for to hit X result. But the first thing, onboarding process. So one thing you guys will see is, I think there's two ways of building a business, right? One way that you can do it is you go extremely hard in the start. You go super, super hard and you build super, super quick, and you just take on clients without really having a proper backend set in place, which works for most people, right? It's a quick way to make some quick money, and I could probably do this and get money already tomorrow if that's what I wanted to do. But you got to have your goal in mind when you're building a business. I know I want to make 150K in 6 months, making 60% profit margin. But before I can hit this number, I need to have the business that can sustain it, because I can turn ads tomorrow, boom, and just get 50 new leads every single day. But I need to make sure that the business will not break, because if the business breaks, then I'll focus on everything that's not scaling the business. It's going to have the business survive, and that's not a very good way of scaling, because when you scale everything. As long as you're scaling book calls, followers, and revenue, you're also going to scale unhappy clients, client satisfaction, client messages. And I want to have these systems in place before I really start to hit the buttons, so I don't have to kill myself in the process. All jokes aside, in GTA, of course. So today I worked on the onboarding process. Now, I believe in info, especially if you sell B2C, super important to have a solid onboarding process, because most clients make it or break it in the first couple of days. If a client stays more than 14 days, it's most likely not going to refund. All refunds happen in the first couple of days. And I want to make sure I have as seamless a process as possible to make sure this doesn't happen. So let me guys quickly show you exactly what I'm doing for this. So when I think onboarding, I think first of all, how can I make sure that the clients get as quick results as possible, but also how can I make sure that they will not refund? And the process that I'm building right now is, first of all, take the payments, always get a contract in place, both for your sake, but also for their sake. So the reason you have a contract in place is to make sure that everything is contractual, right? Which means that you have a specific set of expectations that you set together with the client, and they agree with these expectations, and that's what's going to happen. And that's going to help save you so many headaches with refunds, with complaints, with them saying that you promised them something that you didn't give them, or otherwise also going to make sure that the client doesn't get scammed because you have a contract in place, and that makes it a bit more formal. So always get these things in order to start off with. There's no reason to take this lightly or kind of skip over it, because it's just going to give you headaches at the end of the day. So always make sure to have the contract formality. It's super easy. You can make a quick one with whatever AI that you like to do with Claude and ChatGPT, and then you can send it over to a lawyer to get them to look at it quickly. It's not going to cost you that much, but it's going to save you a bunch of headaches. Trust me, I've sold millions in info, and every time that there has been refunds or there has been issues, they've always been resolved unless there wasn't a contract in place, because that is what normal people often pivot to, especially when you sell B2C. Now, after they've signed the contract, I wait 24 hours to get them access to the program. The reason I do this, and I actually learned this from Charlie Morgan, is when people make decisions, if you onboard them too quickly in the program, they're in this high emotional state. And if they get onboarded into this high emotional state, it makes them very prone to being affected about the situation, right? So if they jump into the program and they see, fuck, I got to go through all this shit, I got to do all this, they're going to make decisions in a high emotional state, which could be positive, of course. They could also just fucking grind through, and that'd be good. But they could also be super, super overwhelmed by jumping in the program and seeing a question in the community about a person not getting results, and they're going to get their head is going to be exploded from that, and they want out immediately. Now, what you want to do is you want to wait 24 hours from them buying to giving them access, because that is going to let them sit with the decision that they made, right? So when they join the program in 24 hours, it's got it's not going to be from like a super high emotional state where, they could make anything control their emotions. That's not what we want to do. We want to let them sit in the decision and not give them the opportunity to get overwhelmed. Now, what I'm going to do in the meanwhile, because I still want them to do something, is I want them to create an exercise where I'll create a bunch of 15 questions that they will have to answer through a Loom video. Now, this have a bunch of different effects. So one reason is one of the parts is going to be them reinforcing the decision that they just made, like why they're not going to give up, what they're going to do with this opportunity, what it's going to let them do, kind of reinforcing the decision that they just made, that it was being correct. But I'm also going to use it for marketing later, so we can look back at this on a testimonial call, seeing how uncertain, how unsure, and how shitty of situation they were in, instead of them telling how it was. Actually, them sitting in the situation saying it, which I think is going to be super, super cool for marketing. And this is what I love about planning so much before you really launch it, is you can think about things like this. And I just love when things run, and I want to make sure that they run and everything is thought about before we launch it. It can be a downfall. It's going to take me longer time to build it. But again, that's the decision I made to make sure everything is going to run as seamless as possible. I'm also going to call it the social contract, because it's going to be a social contract with them committing to this journey that they're going to go through. I'm going to get them to post it inside the community, so they put it out there that this is what they're going to do. And other people are going to respond to it. Again, reinforce the decision. So good that you made this, blah, 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 blah. You're going to fucking make it. I'll hold you accountable. And I only see positives with doing this. And it gives them some time to, think about the good things and think about the bad things that they're in right now before I actually get them onboarded. Again, see a lot of good potential with this. After that, I'm going to make a specific introduction model that's made for retention. So one thing I believe to do is the first modules of your course should always be for retention. So they should be made very specifically to serve a purpose of them expecting what to go through. So I'll have like an introduction model first explaining, hey, you made a decision, that's so good, kind of reinforcing their behavior. But also I want to warm them up from what's coming. Like right now, you feel super good, you just made this decision, but what's going to come is going to be serious, right? You're going to have to go through a bunch of work, bunch of material. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to doubt yourself. Just kind of pre-objection handling the feelings that they're going to get. Because if they already know what's going into, it's like kind of the Hermosi thing with, before you drop the price, you say it's super expensive, because it sets people's expectations of, okay, it's going to be expensive, right? Same thing here. It's going to be hard. This is also what you want to do in your sales process to reinforce that there's not going to be buyer's remorse and they want refunds. But again, you want to be super strategic with your first modules, not being too much about the specifics, but more so reinforcing their decision and what to expect with everything, right? It's also going to tell them how to use the course, use the modules, use everything, so they just can start working. I don't want to work as a support member. I want to have a streamlined course that does that for me. Now, after that, one thing I thought about is I want to optimize. I want to go straight to optimizing social for jobs. One reason for this, so I sell sales coaching, right? I help people get a sales job. It might be remote, it might not be remote. I'll figure that out. We can talk about position later. But what I really want to do is I want to, again, make them commit to this decision as much as possible. So I will make like a LinkedIn video and an Instagram video helping them set up profiles for it, where they will announce what they're doing, the journey that they're going to go on, and they will document the journey. First thing is going to be a quick win, right? They're going to get reinforcement from other people. Oh, this is so cool, blah, 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 blah. They will build momentum and they will commit, right? I need commitment from people. And the other cool thing is they will actually need to do this to actually get jobs. So I just push this all at the start of the onboarding, because again, it helps them commit, it helps them build momentum, and it helps them get wins. But another thought I also had was their friends is going to see, and people that know them are going to see what they got going on. And they will ask about, hey, how's that thing going? How's that thing going? And if I'm able to get good results, they're going to tell good things about me and the journey that they're going to go through. And that's going to give me referrals, which is super underrated in the info space. It's getting referrals. And I remember a Danish coach did this back in the day, where he had people put on their Facebook profile what they were going to go do. And like every single Dane bought his course because they saw that people were embarking on this. And if there's one thing Danes hate, it's being left out. It's not getting an opportunity. And I'm obviously going to sell to the Danish market, and that's something you guys always gotta have in mind is the people you sell to. You need to direct your marketing to them, and you need to talk to them. Where I think Danish people, one thing that works super well is if other people are doing it and they see other people doing it, they will be wanting to do that as well, because we're like, we go in herds, we go together with people, and we do what other people do, because that's just how we work. That's like the law of Yente. You know, we cannot talk too highly about things. You know, we just do what other people do. And instead of me trying to go against that, I want to use that to help people get started, because I know this is the best industry for people. So that's kind of been my process of what I'm going to do in onboarding. And then I will make like a personal plan to every single person that comes in with the exact structure week by week, what they're going to go through, what modules to watch. And I'll tell you a whole about that later down the line when we come to it. But onboarding is super important, guys. It might seem like a little thing, but it's a super, super important thing, because it's going to show exactly how your partnership is going to be by the first couple of days. And people will always judge you from the first couple of days. If that's super good, it will be super good. But if it's trash, it's going to be trash as well. So yeah, super cool. My onboarding process. Another thing I worked on is recording the course modules. So I'm creating a sales course, so I need to make it like an education. I'm hosting everything on school here. I've already cheated from home and made some videos, but right now I'm recording all the modules that they're going to go through. I want to use as little time as possible, spending time one-on-one with people. And for me to do that, I need to have a super good course, so they have no reason to talk with me other than the weekly course that we're going to have. We can talk about this later as well, but right now I'm just recording 3 modules a day. I write these documents and I go through them and I give them the document that they can read through afterwards. The main thing for me is I just want to get this out. The quality is super good in these videos, but like the quality of content, but the format is maybe not the best. But I think people overthink too much here in the start to make it perfect. It's never going to be perfect. You're constantly going to learn things when you onboard people that will, you know, make changes inside the program. So I just want to make it first and then I'll make it perfect. So recording 3 videos per day right now. I'm getting towards the end. And as soon as that's done, I just want to launch ads after I've built the backend systems. The main thing for me about course modules is they need to serve a purpose. The way that I see course modules is not just content of information. It's like going through the exact stages of, again, being where you are to, you know, getting X outcome, which is also map out the journey. I'm always thinking super cautiously that everything has a purpose, because more information doesn't mean better. Right information needs better. And people get overwhelmed if they have to learn too many things. They will just not go through it and they will procrastinate. And I have a saying, I don't know if it's bad, but I always assume people are kind of retarded until they prove me wrong. And I will make this baby proof so everybody can go through it and everybody will go through it, and then make it more and more advanced as they go on and as they prove to me that they can actually take the advance. But I think we honestly overrate people a lot, because, you know, we think that everybody is kind of better than us, but they aren't. And I would say that as well for myself. When I buy programs, I need to be babied a lot more, because that's just how we are. We need direction, and often when we go to coaches, we don't have that direction. That's why we buy them. So that's what I want to give people. I'm not just doing them a disservice. I'm making sure that they will actually go through it and do something with it, instead of just buying things and letting them sit. Right? This might sound bad, but I'm doing this for their sake. I'm doing this to make sure that their success rate will be as high as possible, because that's why I'm going to do this, because I fucking love sales. And, you know, the journey I went through, it's giving me all the things that I've done, and I want to be able to give people the same thing. I genuinely believe sales is the best offer. I genuinely believe sales is the best thing for business to go into, because the success rate is so high. You know, instead of starting your own business, which requires a bunch of skills, I just want to teach people one skill and master that, make good amount of money for it. And after that, they can do whatever they want to do. But yeah, that's going to be some of the positioning as well, but we can talk about that in another module. So YouTube comments, none right now. Hopefully some people will see this. And if you have any questions about how I run coaching businesses, put it inside the comments and I will respond to it, giving you exact clarity on whatever question that you might have. I would say I'm the 100K per month guy. I help people get to 100K per month. The reason that I don't set bigger goals for like this is because I've seen what detriment often making more money comes to. It sacrifices your love for the business. It sacrifices profit. It sacrifices the touch that you have of everything. And that's not what I believe a coaching business is. I believe a coaching business is a business where you sell you, where you make high profit, where you have good cash flow. I don't see coaching businesses as something that has to go through $1 million months, because I often see these guys making less money than the lean 100K guys. And that is what I help people do. I help people create a business that they love, that suits them and that supports them and that actually helps people, and not just is there to run hard acquisition and make a bunch of money, but actually not make any money. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this first episode of my daily update series. Hopefully I'll get better at these as we go. But again, this is because I want to hold myself super accountable and I want to show exactly what I go through in creating this business. And I promise you guys, I will hit this goal in 6 months. I promise you I will, and I will document every single step from there. So hopefully you enjoyed it, guys. I will see you guys in the next episode.